Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Conversations with Beer Bloggers. I am Josh Short from Short on Beer. Today we're going to meet Doug Smiley from Baltimore Bistros and Beer. We're going to talk about the craft beer scene in Baltimore, food blogging versus beer blogging, and much more. So let's go meet Doug. Alright Douglas, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your blog.
Well, my blog came about, I guess I've always been active in blogging. Back in college, I was doing a lot more pop culture blogging, but then I got out of the habit of blogging and writing. So just to help myself get back into the practice of writing, I decided to start documenting my trips to restaurants and started off as a basic food blogger talking about the Baltimore scene. And then one day, as I was trying to figure out more ways to come up with, creative posts, I found The Session. I don't know if you're familiar with The Session, but it's a monthly beer blogging thing where a bunch of beer bloggers get together and talk about a common topic. So when I came to that, got to meet a lot of cool beer bloggers, just a lot of friendly people. And from there, I've slowly progressed to become a kind of a hybrid blogger where I still do my food blogging, but I'm also becoming more and more active in the beer blogging realm as well.
So which one do you like better, the beer or the food part?
I think I like the beer better, definitely, because I feel like, as much as I like food, I've never been trained in anything culinary, so I can't speak to it with the confidence that I can with beer. Not that I have any professional uh, beer knowledge or experience, but just from reading and talking with people, I feel a lot more like I can convey a thought a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely prefer beer blogging to food blogging.
Now, how did you get into craft beer? Is it you grow a giant beard and you automatically like it? I mean, how does that go?
The beard is definitely a prerequisite, I would say. But no, I would say my journey into craft beer was kind of semi different than most people, I would say. I didn't know what craft beer was when I first started getting into it. I never heard of the term, but I knew that the beers that I were drinking were, it was just flavorless beer, and I wanted more. So I would just start going to my local beer distributor, and I would just randomly pick something that I've never heard of before. And I started tasting these beers, and I'm like, these have a lot more flavor. They're a lot more interesting. And then one day during the holiday season, I picked up Heavy Seas Greater Pumpkin, and that beer spoke to me in a way that done before. It was just so full of flavor, and I was like, wow, this is the beer that I need to be spending my money on. And so that's kind of how I came to craft beer and to love craft beer.
Now, your blog, Baltimore Bistro and Beer, how much does Baltimore play into your content?
As far as food is concerned, I would say anything I'm talking about food related is in Baltimore or in the surrounding area within, like a 30 to 40-minute circle. So I guess the Beltway. Um, and then when it comes to beer, I talk about the craft beer scene as a whole right now, but with 2014 just happening, everyone has new directions they're trying to take their blog, and I definitely want to get much more Maryland specific when it comes to my blog posts about beer.
Right, I think we kind of have the same goal. I think we've talked about this before. I want to go a little bit more Northern Virginia centric with mine as well. So if I was to visit Baltimore for one day,
Right.
which actually I probably have coming up soon, where do you recommend me going to get the best beer around?
If you're looking for a bar experience, I think the default place that everyone heads to is Max's down in Fells Point. They have 100 or so taps, so they've got you covered there. They've got quite a few cask options and then a whole slew of bottles. Um, if you're still in Fells Point and you're looking for something a little less crowded, I like the Wharf Rat, and I actually just wrote a post about them today. It's a smaller bar, but they still have a good selection of beers and also cask beers, which cask is something I've been getting into more and more lately. I just like the flavor profiles that they offer the beer. So those would be my two places down in the city. If you're looking for to visit a brewery, I like Union Craft Brewery. Uh, on their weekends, they're always having food trucks stop there, so you get a little bit of the food that I like so much, plus the beer. And there's always, sometimes they have music. It depends. They're really cool brewery to visit.
Yeah, what's the best food truck in Baltimore?
Um, that's a tough question. I mean, I've only had a few, but the one that comes to mind, I think, is called Ice Gems, and it's just cupcakes. But the one time that I did visit Union, they made a beer using one of Union's, or they made a cupcake using some of Union's beer in the batter, and it had bacon, I think, involved in it. So, a beer and bacon cupcake, you kind of can't
Can't
lose
go
them.
wrong. Yeah. So what's in your beer fridge right now?
I've actually got a homebrew here sitting with me right now. I've got a little Goza with me, and so I always have some homebrew, and then I have. I'm a big fan of pilsners, and I like wheat beers. So when I was at Total Wine a few weeks ago, they had a beer. I can't remember what they called it, but it was 50% pilsner blended with 50% wheat beer. I never heard of it before, so figured I'd give that a shot. And then I have a couple Belgian seasonals and the full pint burger cookie stout. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but
Not at all.
yeah,
No.
that's another local beer, local Baltimore beer.
Okay. So where can people find you?
They can find me on my website, Baltimore Bistros and Beer, and they can find me on Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter at Bmore Bistro Beer. Pretty much always, anytime there's a new post, that's where I'm letting everyone know.
Great. Doug, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you. I'm sure everyone is going to love hearing what you had to say. So thank you for joining us.
No, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Conversations with Beer Bloggers. Today we met Doug Smiley from Baltimore Bistros and Beer. If you enjoyed today's interview, please give it a thumbs up and like it below and share it with a friend. And you can leave Doug and I a comment below to answer any questions you might have. As always, you can read more and see more by me at shortonbeer.wordpress.com. So thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you next time on Conversations with Beer Bloggers.